The Renaissance. The late medieval transition to Renaissance art has no definitive marker. Both Gothic and Renaissance characteristics appear in this period's artwork. Giotto de Bondon's artwork illustrates this blurred line. His frescoes feature simple perspective, creating the illusion of a stage with overlapping figures in the round. Strong emotions and gestures separate Giotto's work from the Gothic style. Though not fully realistic, his figures no longer seem inexpressive and flat. The Renaissance saw the emergence of the idea of individual genius. Artists had been considered artisans, as both groups worked together with their hands. Artists became known as intellectual figures, valued for their individual accomplishments. Filippo Brunelleschi received the honor of completing the dome of the Florence Cathedral. Brunelleschi solved the year-old struggle of constructing the dome's huge vault by employing a double-shelled dome design. Later architects would mimic Brunelleschi's accomplishment. He also developed linear perspective, featuring only a single vanishing point. Exemplifying the Renaissance man, Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo exemplify the High Renaissance. A jack of all trades, Da Vinci was an artist, architect, engineer, painter, sculptor, scientist, and musician. The Last Supper and Mona Lisa exemplified Da Vinci's art. The Mona Lisa illustrates the use of stuffamo. From the Italian fumo, it means mellow colors and a blurred outline, which allows forms to blend together without stark transitions. The Venetian Titian Vecelli became the Renaissance's greatest colorist. Vecelli was renowned for his innovative portraits of his patrons. He ventured away from the norm of using atmospheric neutral backgrounds with backdrops such as columns or curtains. His influence held through the 21st century. Protestants broke away from the Catholic Church in the Reformation. They criticized the Church's corruption. Art of the time had less ornamentation and religious images. The Catholic Church launched the Counter-Reformation in response, and El Greco became famous in this period. His altarpieces are renowned for their dynamic composition and startling innovations. Tintoretto or Titian influenced his work. Both Tintoretto and El Greco represented a transition between the Renaissance and Baroque period. Smaller scales and higher degrees of realism typified Renaissance art in the North throughout the 15th century. The creation of oil paints allowed this realism. Ancient art influenced the Northern European Renaissance less than the South, due to the lack of access to ancient works and connection to classical culture. In the 15th century, the Northern Alps still saw art produced in Gothic style, despite the Renaissance emerging in Italy, such as the Ghent altarpiece. The Renaissance began to impact Northern European art in the 16th century. Travel to Italy facilitated this process, spreading notable Italian engravings. Interaction between Germany and Venetian merchants also spread Italian ideas. Many Northern artists rejected the Renaissance techniques in favor of tradition. They nevertheless eventually adopted linear perspective and the Renaissance colors. The North utilized Renaissance techniques differently than in the South. Hans Holbein the Younger is recognized as the greatest Renaissance portraitist. Though German, he served as England's court painter under King Henry VIII. His work captures details and the character of his subjects. Holbein's influence in English painting showed through the 19th century.